Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? The bigger thing the New Orleans Saints have to fix is the roster, and that is going to be, in my opinion, a years-long process, and it's going to take a lot of strong work in the draft. It's really your only way out of this. You've got to get young, inexpensive players who will overtake your old, expensive players while their contracts purge. That's your way out of this. You've got to hit in the draft. But as we know, the Saints are going to go spend in free agency, just like they did a year ago. They went and added guys like Chase Young. They went and added Willie Gay. I mean, they went and added guys in veteran free agency that were going to help them win. And the Saints continue to say that they're pretty committed to winning now. And there's two pass rushers. Obviously, the Saints were one of the worst in the league at getting to the passer last year in sacks. Chase Young individually had a very high pressure rate, but the Saints, as far as sacks, were at the bottom of the league. So how do you fix that? Well, there's two players that on Thursday, well, one is formally available, the other is likely to be available, that no doubt are going to garner a lot of attention here because of a lot of connection to the city and to the organization. So first of all, we'll talk about Trey Hendrickson. Adam Schefter reported that the Bengals have granted Trey Hendrickson permission to seek a trade. Hendrickson said, "It's been a privilege to honor and represent Cincinnati, loves the city, the organization, but appreciates the opportunity to explore his options. He wants a deal kind of like what Max Crosby just got from the Raiders." And I don't blame him, man. You get in the NFL, you get one chance really for a break the bank contract like that. And when you are the NFL sack leader and you're a candidate, a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year, it's your opportunity to cash in. And the Bengals have not shown a willingness to give Hendrickson that type of extension that he seeks. So they're going to let him go explore options to sign elsewhere. Let me be very clear. There's no reality in which the New Orleans Saints should even consider re-signing Trey Hendrickson. I love the player. I wish they had prioritized better when they drafted him, and he never would have left. However, at this point, you cannot justify spending that amount of money if you're talking about a 9-figure contract for an edge rusher when you are nowhere close to winning. You don't need one player. It's not like saying the Philadelphia Eagles were Saquon Barkley away from winning the Super Bowl. You're nowhere close to that. One guy isn't going to do this for you. You've got to get many guys. Instead of the one Trey Hendrickson, give me 10 starters. That's what you need to be. That's the mindset you need to be in right now. So would you love Trey Hendrickson? Of course you'd love to have him back. I wish they didn't screw it up in the first place with their lack of priorities and fiscal irresponsibility. And he's been awesome. He's the NFL sack leader. He's great. Great player. Would love to have him back. Wish he never left. But there's no scenario that I can contemplate where giving Trey Hendrickson or anybody a 9-figure contract now makes sense. Short of Patrick Mahomes. If the Chiefs wanted to get rid of Patrick Mahomes, I'd say, all right, figure that thing out. Make it a 20-year contract, spread money over years or whatever, funny money, accounting the Saints want to do, great. Do that. But not for a defensive end, not for Trey Hendrickson. Now, Joey Bosa is more interesting. If you missed the news, the Chargers have released Joey Bosa. Bosa is a former first-round pick. He was the Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2016 when he had 10.5 sacks, 17 TFLs. He made 4 Pro Bowls in his first 6 seasons. As a matter of fact, he set an NFL record, Joey Bosa did, with 19 sacks in his first 20 games. As a result, the Chargers paid Bosa accordingly. They gave him a 5-year, $135 million extension in 2020, and since signing that deal, he can't stay healthy. He has played in just 28 games over the last 3 seasons. It's massively disappointing for a guy that they sunk so much resource into and had such a great start to his career. Now, it's fair to mention that this year, 2024, Bosa did play in 14 games. It's the most amount of games played since 2021, which, by the way, was his first season with Brandon Staley. That's the connective tissue here. So Brandon Staley, the Saints' new defensive coordinator, was the head coach of the Chargers and coached Bosa for 3 seasons. Now, those seasons were a little up and down because of the injuries, but back in 2022, this was this was in January. So this is January of 22, after Staley's first season as the head coach in LA with the Chargers. This is what Staley had to say then about Bosa.
Well, he's got really good instincts. You know, you've heard me talk about Justin Herbert's instincts, but Joey's got really good instincts as a rusher. He's got outstanding feel for the person blocking him and the feel of the depth of the quarterback, the rhythm and timing of the play. And so I think, he has really, really good instincts. He can really see and feel, the set and the type of, pass that's happening. And I think that, the big time rushers that I've been a part of, whether it's, AD, Vaughn, Khalil, Leonard, Bradley, some of these guys that are high level rushers, they have rare instincts. And, I think that's really stood out to me about him.
Of course, AD being Aaron Donald, Staley was the defensive coordinator, the Rams, before he went to be the head coach of the Chargers there in LA. And when you look at the one season where Bosa was healthy under Staley, played in 16 games, double-digit sacks, had 10.5 sacks, 51 tackles, 5 TFLs. Now, that was 3 years ago. That was 2021. So I guess if you go into 24, you say it would be 4 years ago, going into 25. But you look after that, played in just 5 games in 22, 9 games in 23. This year, finally stayed healthy, as you mentioned, played 14 games, but that was without Staley. So, I think you look and you say, all right, if he's healthy, he can still be a productive player at 29 years old, but how much is it going to cost? Is Joey Bosa lining up for a 1-year prove-it deal like Chase Young did? Maybe. This is a guy that's made a bunch of money, signed a 9-figure deal, and now is approaching 30. Or is he looking for the second multi-year deal of his, since his rookie deal, right? You have your rookie deal, then he signed his big-time $135 million extension. Is he looking for another maybe 3-year deal with some guarantees wherever he goes? That's going to be a giant question for Joey Bosa. It's what does he want? Is he going to go to the highest bidder? Is he going to go to San Francisco and play with his brother, Nick, which is a possibility? Is he going to go to a contender? And we saw Ndamukong Suh do this late in his career. He would just hold out and then go wherever he felt like he could win. Went down to Tampa, played with Tom Brady. Went up to Philly, played with the Eagles. Just going to go play where he feels like he can get a ring. And he's ring chasing. God bless him. I don't blame him at all. What does Joey Bosa want to do at this point in his career? When you made a bunch of money, you've had injury issues, do you want to go play with your brother? Do you want to go ring chase? Do you want to play where you're going to be your most productive? Maybe that's with a guy like Staley if they have a good relationship. I don't know. Look, J.J. Watt was on the Pat McAfee show today, and Watt's another one of those guys who was, he's a Hall of Famer, undoubtedly, but Hall of Fame career, then boom, injuries cut him down before he was probably done playing. And, Bosa's got this question, what really do you have left?
I believe he is still very effective as a situational pass rusher. I think that he probably prefers some of those less snaps as well. Just as the body goes, you want to still rush the passer at a high level, but not have to, do some of those grinder things down there in a 6 technique. So still plenty left for him.
That's what I would say. Is Joey Bosa looking for a 1-year deal as a situational pass rusher and the opportunity maybe to go play with his former head coach? If that's the case, then yeah, this makes sense. If he's looking for a multi-year deal, you're not investing that type of money. Same thing we talked about with Hendrickson. You're not investing that type of money into a 29-year-old player. Hendrickson's younger, don't misunderstand, but you're not investing a long-term resource with your cap situation into an older player that's had injury issues. So, if you got Chase Young on a 1-year prove-it deal, that'd be about the only thing you'd consider with someone like Joey Bosa. Listen, if it's cheap, sure. If it's a multi-year, no. You've got to get younger. You got to go draft. This is going to be my mantra this entire offseason. You have got to replace your old, expensive players with young, inexpensive players. That is, tattoo it on the forehead of every single Saints executive. Get rid of your old expensive players, replace them with young cheap players. Like that is how it's what you did in 2017 when you nailed that draft, when you had Lattimore and Ramchick and Kamara and Marcus Williams, like Trey Hendrickson. You nailed that draft. You got young and talented. Boom. In one weekend, you transformed your organization because you got young and talented in one weekend. That's the challenge in this year's draft. Look, the Saints need pass rushers. Maybe in Brandon Staley's defense, we see Isaiah Foskey wake up. I mean, you could roll your eyes. Couldn't I also look at what just happened with Zach Bond and go, in the right situation with someone who knew how to use him, all of a sudden that guy with a ton of ability became one of the best defenders in the NFL? I'm not saying that's going to happen to Foskey, but in 2 years, Foskey's got 25 tackles. He's basically been a special teamer or a healthy scratch. Could you get something out of him? And Cam Jordan's old. Chase Young's a free agent. Carl Granderson underperformed with his contract this past year. You need pass rushers. Like, you've got to go address you've got to go get pass rushers. But you got to find young, talented ones. Or old, cheap ones, if that's how you can get Joey Bosa. But the only way it would make sense. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.